If you have a base model RZR or RZR S with non-rebuildable shocks, chances are you will at some point be in the market for new ones. Of course, adding a good pair of aftermarket shocks can make a huge improvement in the way your machine handles. Available through ZBroz Racing, Exit UTV shocks are produced in the USA by the same people that brought you ARS-FX Chassis components for UTVs, ATVs, and snowmobiles. They have suspension offerings for older machines like the original RZR and RZR S 800, in addition to the latest machines like the Polaris RZR S 1000. Exit offers many different UTV shock options to fit your specific performance needs and budget. Developed with extensive testing, they feature a 2-inch bore and speed-sensitive damping, providing fluid action over low-speed obstacles like G-outs without feeling harsh on abrupt high-speed impacts. Large piggyback nitrogen reservoirs improve oil cooling and reducing fade. They feature a tough black anodized finish, said to provide long-lasting good looks. For the RZR S 800, Exit's X0 shocks feature preload adjustment and retail for $1,900. The X1 add compression damping adjustment for $2,100, and the X2 shocks add compression and rebound damping adjustment, retailing for $2,300 for a set of 4. The shock's threaded preload adjustment is handled by a single locking ring. The knob on the reservoir controls compression damping, while the knob at the base of the spring controls rebound damping adjustments. Both adjustments provide smooth action and strong positive clicks, making fine-tuning your suspension easy out on the trail with no tools needed. Exit builds their shocks to order, based on your vehicle, chassis setup, additional weight from accessories, and intended use. They back their shocks with a 60-day ride guarantee to make sure that their performance meets your expectations. We gave our set of Exit X2 shocks 2 go-arounds, the first on our Project RZR S 800, which suffered from non-rebuildable and minimally adjustable stock SAC shocks. Knew their performance wasn't that bad, but once the oil starts breaking down, they're junk. Our second test was on a RZR S LE, outfitted with a few accessories. Its Fox shocks were pretty tired. Even with their adjustments maxed out, they were still bottoming out regularly on big hits. On our first go-around, we weren't very impressed with the Exit shocks' performance. They would have worked well on short course races with smooth tracks and lots of jumps. However, their setup was off, even for aggressive trail riding. We zeroed out their spring preload and compression damping in an effort to curb their harsh feeling on small bumps. When we were done, they bottomed out on bigger hits without much improvement in their ride quality over small stuff. We sent the shocks back to Exit and requested a plusher setup, better suited for the average sport-oriented trail rider. Pulling no punches, we were concerned how the shocks would perform when they came back, but within 10 feet of hitting the trail, it was obvious that they'd gone through a significant change. All of the small bumps that we would have noticed on our first test had magically disappeared. Exit's X2 shocks made the car feel impervious to small bumps from roots and rocks. Cruising the trail at speed, harsh hits from square-edged holes and bumps were beautifully dampened. As we became more aggressive, the front shocks' performance felt flawless right out of the box. Compared to the fronts, it seemed that the rear end was using a little more travel and rebounding a little faster on G-outs and some uneven high-speed bumps. We increased preload a couple of turns and slowed rebound damping 2 clicks, which balanced the ride and allowed the machine to track even more predictably in uneven bumps. This time, a little adjustment went a long way. Getting a few feet of air from jumping out of a creek or hitting a large water break-sized jump was no problem. The Exit shocks provided a smooth landing and never emitted a bottoming sensation. One of the things that we really liked about the X2 shocks during our first test was how flat the car stayed during aggressive cornering. We're happy to report that our revised shocks plusher ride has not come with a substantial increase in body roll. Cornering is still relatively flat, and we were amazed how much harder we could drive the machine into and out of corners compared to the stock Fox shocks. In round 1, Exit Shock's performance was in question. However, in round 2 they came back and delivered a decisive knockout. Admittedly, we may have overemphasized our interest in jumping a bit on the first test, having some impact in Exit overvalving our shocks. They made good on their ride guarantee, and based on our feedback, delivered exactly the ride we were looking for. Compared to a brand new set of RZR S shocks, Exit's X2 shocks delivered a ride that was plusher over small bumps, offered more bottoming resistance on big hits, and improved cornering stability. Whether you're racing or just trail riding, you can't ask for much more. In the end, Exit's X2 shocks deliver superb performance for the dollar in a field of premium feature-packed shocks. If you're a recreational driver looking for a simple, affordable replacement for your worn-out stock shocks, Exit's custom-built base model X0 shocks deliver the same out-of-the-box performance for a few $100s less. American-made construction, superb customer service, and most importantly, performance are all reasons that we wouldn't hesitate to recommend or use Exit shocks for our UTV suspension needs. For more information on Exit shocks and ARS-FX chassis components for UTVs, ATVs, and snowmobiles, log on to ZBroz Racing.com.